What's up guys, this is Quante and welcome to my first thoughts and impressions video on Super Mario 3D World. And speaking of the title, if you take 3D out of it, it's freaking Super Mario World, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And I know that probably has nothing to do with it, it would seem, but they even brought back Charging Chucks and the Karibos. And that's weird of me to say since Karibo is just Goomba in Japanese, but the round Goomba, there you go. And it's good to see these guys back because it would seem like the nostalgia factor is getting old at this point, which is a pretty ironic thing to say, but I'm glad to see them back. And it seems like the whole Charging Chuck deal, they should have been back in a Mario game like a really long time ago, because spin-offs, Mario sports games, they're all over the place, and it seems like at least one of them could have been in Super Sluggers, because the confused Chucks throw baseballs and they could have been in a baseball game, and it just seems like they should have been in the game by now. But this is their first 3D appearance and they look pretty good. Their helmets even fall off, which is kinda hilarious, and I never would have expected them to include that. And the Karibos, you know, they act exactly the same as they did in Mario World. They flip over. I haven't seen anyone pick them up or throw them yet. That was something I actually wanted to see, but it seems like they just flip over and you kick them and go on with life and be happy. So I'm glad to see that those two enemies are back. And there's a lot more new enemies at that. Even all the new enemies, they have fairly simplistic designs. It's at least good to see something new because, I mean, they're running all over the place, and, well, I would like to see them in future installments of newer games. And the 3D Land even had some new enemies that are appearing in this game because this is basically the sequel. So I'm glad to see some new enemies are here and some old ones too. I really like this game already, and I haven't even played it. And I also like the attention to detail because Toad is blue, just like in Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. And speaking of Mario Bros. 2 for the NES, the characters each have their own respective abilities from that game. Mario still being able to do nothing, Luigi being able to jump higher, Peach being able to float, and Toad being able to run faster than all the other characters. And a lot of new gameplay mechanics are just introduced, like the clear pipes. I really like how you can go through the clear pipes and avoid enemies and get stars and things like that way. Seems like that should have been something they introduced in a Mario game a really long time ago, but better late than never. And well, I actually hope they incorporate the new abilities into the gameplay. Like, there's a certain thing that you can't reach unless you have Luigi because he can jump higher, or Peach being able to float to a certain platform and no one else can, or something like that. And I mean, not to get the green stars, because the green stars are going to be collectibles, but maybe just to find a little secret, like a 1-up or something that you couldn't get with another character, and that would be pretty cool. And I would love to find secrets based on the characters that you're playing as, and I really hope they do that within this game. And the power-ups, I don't know why they decided to put a cat suit in the game, and my first reaction when I saw it was Mario looks really retarded. And I hate cats. I don't know why. Cats just don't really appeal to me, and when I saw this I was like, eh. But after watching it, I wish I could have played the game to get more of an impression on it, but the Best Buy that's closest to me is like 45 minutes away, but the cat suit actually looks really good, and it looks better than any Mario game that I've seen, or any Mario power-up that I've seen in a Mario game in a while. And I really like the way it just looks in general. Not it's a good power-up, let's just leave it at that, and I thought it was really clever how it's a cat bell and things like that. And I like how you can scale walls with it. It's just a really good looking power-up. And last but not least, in terms of, I guess, mechanics, is the little water Yoshi. That's what I've been calling it because I don't know what else to call it. It looks like a mix between Yoshi and Dory from Super Mario 64, the little sea monster that you go on top of in Hazy Maze Cave. But it just looks like a really weird water Yoshi thing, and it looks pretty cool. And I heard that all the characters have to work together to control it, so that would seem like you would have to have a great amount of teamwork to actually get all of the green stars in a level that involves the water Yoshi, so that'll be a lot of fun. And speaking of the multiplayer, I hope that it's online. I really am just praying that it's online. Knowing Nintendo, it's probably not going to be, because I remember me and a couple of my Boogaloo Shrimp friends were wanting it to be online for Super Mario, New Super Mario Bros. U, but that never came to be. And I was hoping that game would have it, but it doesn't. But I'm hoping this one does. But I'm not getting my hopes up too much because it's probably not going to. But I'd be really excited if it did, because this game just looks a lot of fun on multiplayer, and I really want to experience this with my friends who really aren't close to me and actually want to play Mario instead of other things. So, I actually was hoping for a game like this for a while, because after playing Super Mario 3D Land, I noticed that there was a few things in 3D Land that they could have fixed, like the controls, because Mario just had a gimped jump in that game. I don't know why, but his jump just didn't seem like what it should have been, and it sort of just felt like the controls were really stiff, and I didn't really like that too much. And I was just hoping that they would improve on the 3D Land formula, because while it was a good game, it just wasn't, you know, the best. And I really just wanted them to expand on the formula, because I love the idea of 2D Mario and 3D Mario being all in one. It's something I had been wanting for a while before 3D Land had came out, and then they finally did it. But it was kind of lackluster, I guess, if that's a good word to use for it. But this game looks a lot better, and it looks like it improved on a lot of the things that 3D Land didn't, like the jumping. You can even do a lot of other jumps that you couldn't do in 3D Land, like the spin jump I've seen a couple of times, and I'm hoping the spin jump works the same way it did in Super Mario Sunshine, or it might just be a spin jump like in Super Mario World, where you just do the press of a button and then the character spin jumps. I'm not exactly sure, but it's good to see things like that come back, and I hope that the physics and everything are fixed in this game. But I'm not really sure why a lot of people were disappointed when this game was shown, because a lot of people were just like, I wanted Super Mario Galaxy 3, and while Galaxy 3 wouldn't have been a bad idea, I wouldn't have wanted a Galaxy game, like, already. I think that they at least should have done something different if they were going to go back to the mission-based style that Mario 3D has had all along, but I didn't really want Galaxy 3, and I really wasn't disappointed when I saw this game. I was actually really excited, and I guess I'm just one of those people who sees the good in games before I just think about all the bad things. But this was something that I wanted, so that was probably why I wasn't disappointed. I really like what they're doing with the game, and I hope that I can play it really soon. It comes out in December, but I just don't want to wait that long. I wish I could play the demo, dang it. They better release it on the eShop. And I just like all the returning things. Even the Karibo shoe, that was one of the things I failed to mention before, but it even showed the ice skating parts with the Karibo shoe, and one of the Goombas are even in the Karibo shoe ice skating. And I just overall like what they're doing with the game. It even expands more on what I wanted, like multiplayer in a 3D Mario game. That's something that we haven't seen before, and I think they actually did a lot more with this type of game than they would have done with just doing a Mario Galaxy 3, because a lot more new things are returning when they made a game like this, so I just like the idea for this. But one thing that I want to point out that I don't really think is necessary, but I want to do anyway, is this screenshot right here. It shows Mario and friends in the desert, but in the background the buildings look like they're made of ice cream. And I don't know why Nintendo and Sega are being fat logs lately, because for some reason in every desert-themed world, like in Sonic Lost World as well, they're putting freaking food in a desert. And I think this could be just referencing the Layer Cake Desert in New Super Mario Bros. U. But why you gotta be fat logs, man? I don't really know. But that was also another attention to detail that I noticed within the game. And everything in this game just looks flat out pretty. It reminded me of Mario Party when I first seen it, just because of the way everything looks. It sort of just looks like something you'd see in Mario Party, and it looked weird to me at first, because it's like, is this a Mario Party game, or is this a actual 3D Mario? But nope, it's a 3D Mario game, and well, those are my impressions on it. I really like the way the game looks, and I can't wait to play it with me being a Mario fan, and with all the references that they made to Super Mario World. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the game, because that's one of my favorite games, and so I'm hoping that they actually, you know, put a lot more power-ups into the game as well as the cat suit. Like, they didn't really say anything about the boomerang suit. I did see the Tanuki suit in the trailer, even though the Tanuki suit is kind of bad in 3D land as well, simply because I really wish that you could fly with it, and they put the stupid flying block in 3D land instead of making it, like, fly with the Tanuki suit. I don't know why they did that. I wish that it could just fly, and it looks like you could fly perfectly fine in a game like this, but I'm not really sure what they're gonna do with it, but I'm assuming that the Tanuki suit is gonna play exactly the same as it did in 3D land, and hopefully the boomerang suit will make a return, but other than that, I don't really know what else to say about the game, other than the fact that it looks really good, and I can't wait for it, so yeah, see you guys later.